let's talk about the three major food groups. You've got carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So we want to address all of those. It is very important that all of us, kids and adults, get enough of each of those macronutrients, if you will. So let's start with protein. If you're growing, our immune system needs protein, our enzymes, it's essential for life. What are the best sources of protein? You do not want CAFO, concentrated animal feeding operations. These are the massive warehouses where chickens are in these little tiny pens and they don't get to move for their entire life. It is a stressful life. They have it the same with pigs and pork, lots with cattle that are just corn-fed and packed in together. First of all, it's cruelty to animals, but secondly, living under those conditions and being fed artificially, in other words, you're not grazing, in its own right, creating meat that is not healthy for you. But these animals are stressed. If you eat meat, most of us do, you want free range, grass-fed, you want animals that were treated humanely, and that will provide much more nutritious meat with a lot less toxins. Let's say you're vegetarian. If you eat fish, you can get wild fish, or let's say you don't even do fish. If you eat eggs, if that's allowed, you can have eggs. Again, make them be those free-range eggs, the chickens that can walk anywhere and eat bugs and whatever they find. Much healthier eggs. Some people don't eat eggs. Well, vegetarians can get enough protein and all the essential amino acids. You have to work at it. You're going to need more than one source of protein to get the full range of essential amino acids. Let's move on to fats. Our nation and our world has been led to believe that fat is evil. We need fats, kids especially, for healthy brain development. The myelin sheath that covers the millions of miles of myelin, our nervous system, it's made from fat. And it's good to have a much higher amount of omega-3s versus omega-6. So omega-3s we get, if it's the best vegetable source is flax, but also those wild fish. So if you can get your hands on wild salmon, for example, that would be an awesome source of omega-3 fats. What we don't want from fat is, the partially hydrogenated vegetable oil that comes, that's usually margarine, and we don't want the trans fats. When you're cooking with oil, if that oil gets to where you're starting to see all that smoke, you have converted what might have been a healthy oil into a trans fat. There's something you need to know about oils. Extra virgin olive oil is my favorite for health reasons, but it does not work for high heat cooking. You wouldn't stir fry with extra virgin olive oil because it's going to smoke and turn what was a healthy oil into a trans fat, unhealthy oil. You can use coconut oil or avocado oil for that kind of cooking, if you will, and those are my other two favorite sources of fat. What do kids' brains need to function for energy? Carbohydrates. And what carbohydrates are best? You want your carbohydrates whenever possible coming from real food, whole food. They don't turn to sugar, to glucose as quickly as eating sugar. So you don't get massive insulin spikes, and then if your insulin spikes high, your sugar bottoms out, you're lethargic. You see what happens when kids get sugar, when they have the birthday parties at school and everybody's running around like crazy. They are getting a massive boost of sugar, glucose to their brain, then they crash. And parents, kids watch what we're doing. It's always been that way, right? I might tell you what's the right thing to do, but if I'm not doing it myself, they're probably not going to do it either. If you're shopping for your home and there's no junk food in the house, guess what? They're not eating junk food until maybe they're old enough to go buy their own. But you have control, especially in the younger years, to really set your kid up for success. And what we eat is what we become as far as health goes. So it is the most important thing, perhaps, that we can do as parents is raise our kids up right and help them learn how to eat a really healthy whole food diet. So I'm Dr. Paul. This channel is informational. I don't diagnose or treat. So take this information, run it by somebody you trust, and let's get healthy.